Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. A little bit later today, I did have something special for you planned, but the collab didn't quite happen, so we'll get that to you later this week, but we've got some really exciting collabs coming up with you. So think AFLX, but think draft. There's your clue. But we're back today to talk about all your trade news for Tuesday, the 1st of October. It's the month of Pom. My birthday's on the 23rd, so I'm encroaching the 40s. Can't wait. I'm not there yet. A couple of years to go, but I'm getting close. So let's get straight into it. And the first guy we're going to talk about is Mr. Harry Perryman. We talked about this quite at length on this show. We're big fans of Harry Perryman, so check out that video if you are keen to know more about him. But he's announced he's going as an unrestricted free agent all the way to Collingwood. An absolute great get this is for the Pies. They're going to lose John Noble. They're going to bring in a guy who's 186, who is a running halfback. He's got some really good skills. And I think that although Noble is a very solid player, I would say that I really do like this kind of upgrade. You know me, I'm a big upgrade man, but I think this is a real moneyball little signing. When you're looking at these two players just head to head, they're very similar type players. And if you look at it just on the whole, 18 disposals this year for Perryman, 18.9. More marks from Perryman. He's slightly bigger at 7 centimetres. But I think the big one for me with this guy is just the amount of rebounds he gets, the amount of energy he brings. That experience is really key as well for me. Where you've got 129 games, it's just under 20 more for him. In Perryman's way, but he's been there, he's done it. You're replacing like for like. You're getting a really good pick from Gold Coast for Noble. It's good business this, because you've kind of just moved horizontally, but then you've got money in. It's like when you sell your car to your brother, right? Your younger brother, and you actually make a bonza profit. We've all done it. We've all blagged our brother a little bit. So this is a real good deal, so I really like this for them. I think it's a real good little deal for Pies. This is how you maintain a list. Yeah, you're not going too far back in age, and then you're not also giving up anything. So you're technically getting, which we presume is going to be a fairly healthy pick for the two, but you're going back in age 2 years for a start. You've got the same experience, slightly more in Perryman's case. You can't argue with these types of things, in my opinion. Like these are real good little facets for me. And the big thing as well, very similar kicking efficiency, very similar the way they play the ball. Real good deal for them. So well done to them. Clayton Oliver on the move. We also called this one. We said Clary's one of them ones that you're going to watch. And again, a broken clock is right. Do you know what I mean? Start calling me Pomadamus. But big deal this one. And it looks like Geelong are leading the way for this. And that worries me when it's Geelong. Because when Geelong are linked to any player, my brain and my spider senses always start tingling a little bit in the way of, what do you know that we don't know? And that's what I always kind of look out for here and go, okay, you're doing this. What am I missing that you know? And this is going to be a fascinating trade. What will it take to get this deal done? Well, you'd imagine that it's definitely going to involve a first. Is that going to involve 2 firsts? I think it will. He is in contract. He has got quite a while to go. But I think that they can do this. I really do think Geelong can do this. And I think this is going to be one of them ones that I'm really intrigued. 27 years old. He's been really down on form. So that really does affect his. And this is going to be really fascinating because I can't help feeling that even though he's contracted to 2030, feel like there's something there with all the rumours with Petrarca going. So I think this could be like with the rumours of him wanting out. So part of me just feels that maybe, just maybe, we will see this being kind of like a Petrarca safety net. It's going to be very interesting how this deal gets done. I'm really excited about this one, but this is a really good signing. If they can get him in and Bailey Smith, which, you know what, it's always one of them things that you just kind of look at and you go, it's not going to happen, it's a pipe dream. But you look at it and you think, if they can get them in, this is a really, really, really good deal. And Geelong's got such a good culture, it makes sense. So I think they'll get this kind of for a cheaper deal. And with some rumours of other players going, I reckon that they've probably got the draft capital to get this done. But this is definitely a watch this space and one that I could see. The GM up at Brisbane said today he expects Danny Daly, expects Danaher might retire, and this could be big news, and this is going to be quite sad for me because I really like JD. I'm a big, big fan. It was announced that he was going to do it at the end of the grand final. Probably not the time nor the place, but Joe Danaher leaves with a medal, and you know what? What a phenomenal player. And this is going to really be interesting because Logan Morris has really kicked on leaps and bounds. Eric Hipwood, we talk about him a lot. Brisbane are in a shit place for draft picks at the minute because they've got Sam Marshall and Ashcroft to worry about. I mean, it's not a real bad problem, but it is one. But this could be a really interesting one. Do they look elsewhere? Now, we know Wade Dirksen wants to move back to Victoria, so he's probably out. But just looking at how Danaher works, he works not like a traditional key forward. He works really high up the ground. This is maybe one that, if it does happen, keep an eye out on Tim Membry. It's a stopgap, but it gives protection to Logan Morris, who does need protecting at all costs because he is world class. I'm a big fan of the Moral Dog. So, Joe Danaher looks set to retire. That might surprise a few people. Tom Campbell looks set to join the Demons. Now, my secret spies tell me he's met with a few Victorian clubs, but it looks like he's made his decision to go to them. And that's fair enough. This is an interesting one because this is obviously a man that I feel hasn't been used properly. But he's probably the best backup for me in the league. Very important. I like me backup rucks. 58 games. Do you know what I mean? A 98 draft pick. So that's not brilliant. But he's been very, very good and very, very solid in the Sandringham team. We talked about him the other week. And you're getting a guy that's played, like we say, 58 games, 32 years old, 201 centimetres. You know, an interesting little thing about him as well is he's a real plugger. He's a real workhorse. This will be his 4th club now. I really like this signing because it just gives you a bit of protection. Do you know what I mean? The last thing you want to be doing is being in a sticky situation where you've got to play someone to protect Gorn, and Gorn's not getting any younger. This is a smart bit of business, unrestricted. He just walks over there. I mean, sorry, he's delisted free agent, so he's cheap as chips, totally free, low salary, makes sense. It means that you can start bringing someone on and really looking after them. So this is a really, really good bit of business. You know me, I like me cheap as chips deals. It might be because I'm a Northerner and I'm tighter than a duck's bottom, but this should be a really interesting one. So really watch the space on this one. It should be a deal that's done incredibly well, but it brings great protection. Do you know what I mean, for them? They've got some young players to protect here. Will Verrill will really, I think, gets a good kick out of working with him in training. So one to look out for. We were massive on this one the other week, and a lot of you mocked me for it, and I don't mind. I don't mind being mocked, but I still think there is a chance. I'm still standing by 2025 and 2026. Brace your place for Saints. Chad Warner plays for Fremantle. But rumours are Chad Warner will stick around till next year. That is his get-out plan. I still think watch this space. We're going to talk about another guy in a minute that I always say, look at 2025 contracts. They are the guys that will trade today. So always make sure you look out for that. So I could see with Chad Warner's contract situation, they may look at doing it a little bit earlier while there's value. Because I don't think Chad Warner's value will be any higher. At a contract 2025, if he requests a trade to WA, the AFL is the most manipulated system in the world. We know he'll get there. This is probably the time you sell him. And with Fremantle having a hoard of picks, this could be the chance. Also, West Coast Eagles, he'd definitely be a wonderful asset there. And I think it opens up the door for them. This could be a real one to watch just as it gets on, because they've only just broken up for Christmas, as it were. Chad Warner's one to watch, so I'm still not buying it. I'm lapping it up. Sam de Koning up next, and this one excites me a little bit. Being linked to the Blues, we've just talked about Clayton Oliver. They've also got to get in old mate Bailey Smith. It's always going to be a tough ask, and it looks like he's gettable. We talked about this again, looking at players out of contract, and 201 centimetre, 23-year-old key position defenders are as rare as rocking horse shit. 19 games this year and last year, and a Premiership player, 23 games in that year. We've got something exciting to show you in the next couple of days that I've made, but I do think he's probably worth that magical 2,000 points, which is probably two firsts that are back-ended with something coming back. It's hard to find in the draft, it's got to be said, but this here is that missing jigsaw piece, in my opinion, for the Carlton Footy Club. We keep talking that Lewis Young hasn't quite worked. I want to work Jacob Wheater in higher up. Sam de Koning is that tool to do that. Couple of question marks here. He's had that knee injury. He's had a concussion. And it hasn't quite worked at Geelong. But Geelong are well within their rights to ask for a premium, because the reason is they are solid. Steve Hocking has come out and said that they are heavily targeting midfielders. So they've probably got the coverage from here. And I really like this deal. I feel like this is the deal that I get excited about. Dan Houston, halfbacks a tenner penny. I know he's good, he's world class. I'm not going to argue that. But Sam de Koning, you can't go and buy this in the draft. If you look at the draft this year, this is it. I think there'll be a lot of takers for this. I'm going to be watching Collingwood here. Collingwood could probably fabricate the deal because they're going to get Gold Coast to overpay. It's going to be a very interesting one, this. But I'd say Carlton are in pole position, and this is definitely someone that you look at. This is, aside from that POD in the midfield and a small forward, definitely a least concern for the Blues. So I'm a big fan of this one. I'm going to say now, Sam de Koning leaves Geelong this year. Matt Kennedy, likely to stay. We love the AFL rumour mill. And today, Riley Beveridge, as always, likes to change his mind, thinks he stays. I think this will be dependent on what Carlton get for him, but obviously we've said this. I think he's valuable to Carlton, and it's going to be one of them ones that you'd have to probably pay a little bit overs. Looking at the teams that are looking for these types of players, they seem to have their fingers in the pies. So I'm happy with this. Very universal Swiss Army knife type footballer. He can play all across the lines. When you are a club like us with all the injuries, it makes sense if you can't get as close to a second as possible for Matt Kennedy. He does remain on the list. Obviously wants to go to a club that plays him inside midfield minutes. St Kilda are tied up with Jackson McRae. Richmond, we don't know what we're doing yet. But would you want to go to Richmond at this stage of their development when you've gone through the same mess with Carlton? Real fascinating little conundrum for them to have. But it looks like Matt Kennedy's going to stay unless there is a good pick. In other news, Adam Kennedy retired and Dustin Martin was filmed at the B&F today, the Jack Dyer medal, and he said that he's staying, retired. This could be a real fascinating one. It would be awesome if Dustin Martin did come out of retirement for me personally, but I do understand Richmond's point of view. I'm not going to be a dickhead and go, he's playing for someone else, because I would be upset too. But looks really good. In other news, Dara Joyce, Aaron Francis have re-signed contracts for a year, so they're ones to look out for. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do the rest of the list analysis with Let Dog at 6 o'clock tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. We're going all the way from GWS to Western Bulldogs is the mathematically last one, or is it West Coast Eagles? West Coast Eagles, isn't it? It is. Yeah, so we'll be doing that. I'll have another video tomorrow as well for you on one of these updates. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. If you are one of the wonderful people who's bought a load of these jerseys, please tag me in them. I know a few of you sent me pictures, but I'm reluctant to screenshot it and post it because you're in it, and obviously that's weird, and we don't do that here. But go to pommyandoz.com, buy your merch. It's all good clobber. Mrs. Pom picked it out, and she's a woman of taste. Peace, love and light. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby.